This is BTV, Business Television. Discover companies to invest in.
This week, therapeutic psychedelics, better cancer detection, and more, right here on BTV.
Hello, I'm Taylor Tone.
And I'm Jessica Katrachuk. Welcome to BTV Business Television.
All the small cap companies featured here today are healthcare related.
These companies are innovators who thrive on doing the hard work that generates change.
But first, if you're wondering about market activity in the psychedelic space, here's the CEO of the CSE, the Canadian Securities Exchange.
We have about 35 or 40 companies on the exchange now who have either come onto the market with a plan to look at some aspect of the psychedelic space. In the first 3 months of this year, that sector has raised more than $300 million. The names are also amongst the volume leaders traded on a daily basis on the Canadian Securities Exchange as well.
700 million people around the world are afflicted with mental health disorders that include depression, PTSD, and addiction. The direct and indirect costs are $2.5 trillion a year. And many of the existing pharmaceutical treatments either don't work that well or not at all. Cybin thinks the time has come for a different approach.
The primary focus of Cybin is to take classical psychedelic molecules and transform them into useful therapeutic agents for mental health disorders. We've been for too long trying to treat just the signs and symptoms of these diseases, and now we have an ability to really address the underlying causes of depression and anxiety and addiction.
The effects of naturally occurring psychedelic substances have been known since 2000 BC, but research into how psychedelics actually work in the brain only began in the 1960s. Cybin's chief of R&D explains why treatment with psychedelics is a fundamental breakthrough.
There are really two very important differences between a psychedelic and a classical pharmaceutical like, say, Prozac. One is that they work much more quickly. The first dose and you're seeing a response. And the other thing which is really, really important is that you don't have to give them every day to get a treatment response. Also, they work in treating patients that don't respond to the other drugs. This is what they call the therapy-resistant group. Those are the big breakthroughs.
Helping establish Cybin as a leader in the psychedelic space is the acquisition of Adelia Therapeutics and a partnership with Kernel.
The Kernel team's done a phenomenal job. They've taken this neuroimaging technology, which typically would take up a whole room and cost millions of dollars, and turned it into something portable. So we can look inside the brain and see what's happening before, during, and after a treatment. So that gives us the ability to collect a lot more data that's quantitative and not just qualitative depression scales or other scales that are sometimes used in psychiatry. The acquisition of Adelia Therapeutics brought us tremendous experience in medicinal chemistry and a phenomenal team that has a long history of developing not only pharmaceuticals but also developing psychedelics.
Cybin has already filed 10 patent applications. As a disruptor, Cybin knows they're being watched with great interest. The stakes are very high.
Big Pharma is paying attention already. The biopharmaceutical industry will demonstrate that these products are such important additions to our therapeutic toolbox that I would predict within 5 years we're going to see psychedelic drugs approved for treating a number of serious mental illness problems. So by definition, the pharmaceutical industry will become interested. This is a paradigm shift. Yeah, this is really a paradigm shift.
Long term, we're aspiring to be an integrated mental health care company. Right now, the focus is largely around drug discovery and drug development. We're waiting for approval to begin a phase 2 study with our sublingual film formulation of psilocybin for depression. Our goal is to make these treatments reimbursable and therefore broadly accessible. And that's our belief, is that by taking these molecules through the pharmaceutical route and making sure they're reimbursable by governments and by payers, means that everyone can get access to them that needs them. We have a global issue and inadequate treatments, and that's a problem we're trying to solve.
Cybin has built a discovery pipeline of over 50 proprietary psychedelic molecules, has completed 20 preclinical trials, and has also commenced 4 drug development programs.
Coming up next on BTV,
The antiviral market is a $40 billion market, and the nicotine market is a $900 billion market.
and later in the show,
The healthcare model is broken right now.
We'll be right back. You're watching BTV.
Welcome back to BTV. Lexaria, a leading bioscience company, is ready to change the status quo. Their patented drug delivery technology, Dihydratech, is currently being evaluated for multiple applications, and the results so far indicate there's a lot to be excited about.
Some of the benefits of Dihydratech are that it delivers a lot higher fraction of the drug in question into the bloodstream, so it reduces waste. It also delivers the drug far more quickly. And when I say far more quickly, I do mean it. In many instances, we've reduced the amount of time from 90 or 120 minutes down to as little as 5 or 10 minutes. That matters a lot if you're in pain or you're having a seizure. We also have evidence that we're able to cross the blood-brain barrier, believe it or not, up to 19 times more effectively.
John Doherty, the company's president and director, explains how Dihydratech works.
Generally, Dihydratech formulations are prepared with long-chain fatty acids. These are things like oleic acid-rich sunflower oil. And these fatty acids enhance absorption in your oral cavity as well as into your stomach and intestines. So basically, Dihydratech formulations piggyback on the absorption of these fatty acids, where the Dihydratech is basically using the fatty acid as the engine and the drug as the payload.
While studies into the use of Dihydratech are ongoing, the technology is already gaining traction on a number of fronts.
2 of the world's largest nicotine companies, Altria in the United States and British American Tobacco over in the UK, have established formal relationships with us, and they're investigating Dihydratech for the delivery of oral nicotine as a choice instead of smoking or combusted cigarettes. The cannabis industry has looked at us to help deliver cannabinoids, both psychoactive and non, in the oral cannabis industries. Another application is hypertension or high blood pressure. A study that Lexaria performed in 2018, we discovered that a Dihydratech processed CBD actually lowers human blood pressure, whereas generic CBD does not. So we're investigating the use of CBD to treat things like heart disease. And another area that Dihydratech is useful to deliver antiviral drugs. These are drugs that are in use to treat HIV/AIDS.
With all these possibilities, one thing is clear. The applications for Dihydratech are vast, and so is the market potential.
GW Pharmaceuticals is chasing the pediatric seizure market. It's about $1 billion market in the United States. That company just got purchased for over $7 billion. The hypertension market, in contrast, is nearly a $30 billion market. The antiviral market is a $40 billion market, and the nicotine market is a $900 billion market. So all of these areas are places where Lexaria's Dihydratech has great benefits to offer, and they're all so big as to transform our company completely.
Lexaria expects 2021 to be their busiest year for R&D, with a particular focus on the effective delivery of antiviral drugs and CBD for hypertension. The company expects to announce the results of these studies in the coming months. Coming up next on BTV,
we're just scratching the surface of the potential for psychedelics to heal.
and later in the show,
We have a particular focus right now on COVID-19 and bringing to market new novel COVID-19 testing products.
We'll be right back. You're watching BTV.
Welcome back to BTV. Obesity is a global epidemic responsible for 37% of the burden of disease worldwide. But for many people, traditional weight loss methods aren't enough. That's why Neon Mind is exploring a new approach. They believe a psychedelic substance called psilocybin can play a role in treating the mental health issues around obesity.
The vision we have for Neon Mind includes successfully bringing the first FDA and Health Canada approved psychedelic therapeutic to patients struggling with obesity. We believe this may be possible within 5 years. Likewise, we envision operating a leading chain of Neon Mind branded mental health clinics across Canada that is successfully delivering care that otherwise would not have been available to patients with mental health conditions.
Based on his experience using psychedelics in the treatment of opioid addiction, Neon Mind's chief psychedelic officer is confident the same benefits apply to obesity.
So many mental health issues are really tied to compulsive, repetitive thought patterns. And what psychedelics seem to offer is the potential to step beyond that, to almost press reset. It silences that default mode network, it's called in neurology. Our expectation is that a prescribed set of behaviors like eat less, exercise more, reinforced with a therapeutic psychedelic session should help a person break up the patterns that are holding them back and move towards that new, healthier direction.
Preclinical trials started in November 2020.
Our initial preclinical study results were exciting, providing a good signal that both low and high dose psilocybin can be effective in reducing weight gain within a week. These findings have informed our 2 distinct psilocybin drug development programs. Our first drug candidate aims to use synthetic psilocybin to enhance a patient's ability to adopt behaviors that cause weight loss and maintain that weight loss through psychedelic-assisted cognitive therapy. The second drug candidate proposes low-dose synthetic psilocybin as a treatment to suppress appetite.
When approved, the therapeutic use of psilocybin will take place in a supervised setting.
Patients will be referred by their doctor to centers who specialize in psilocybin-assisted psychotherapy, where they will be introduced to a counselor who will identify the main reasons they are driving the undesired behavior leading to obesity. That counselor will also describe the methods to be used during psychedelic experience and take them through that experience. Further review of the experience in psychotherapy will be given over a few weeks after the 1 or 2 psilocybin-assisted psychotherapies.
Responding to a surge in a broader scope of mental health issues, Neon Mind has launched a new division.
Our recently established Medical Services Division is being developed to deploy psychedelic modalities for patients with a variety of mental health conditions. Neon Mind will be working with healthcare communities to offer innovative medical services as we stand up clinics that are tailored for the local market needs.
The regulations have been steadily changing, and Neon Mind is hopeful psychedelics will play an important role in the war on obesity.
Now that the research is starting again, we're seeing the very powerful pattern interrupting, anti-addictive, and pro-mental health benefits of these substances.
At Neon Mind, we're proud to be an early mover in investigating these psychedelic substances for the treatment of obesity. We're just scratching the surface of the potential for psychedelics to heal.
Neon Mind will soon be applying to start phase 2, human clinical trials.
Improving access to better healthcare experiences while providing value to shareholders is a challenging mission. But Empower Clinics believes it's a mission that can be accomplished.
We've got a strategy of pure play integrated healthcare. 2 main pillars being our health centers with primary care physicians and paramedical practitioners, and our science and R&D side through our medical diagnostics laboratory and bringing new novel test products to the market on a direct-to-consumer basis or an in-clinic basis. And we have a particular focus right now on COVID-19 and bringing to market new novel COVID-19 testing products. We had all the operational pieces to start to offer COVID-19 testing. We quickly or rapidly learned that ultimately there was better margin in revenue by owning a lab. And it was at that point that we decided it'd be better to acquire rather than, say, open a lab. And we started really looking around for appropriate lab partners, and we landed on Kai Medical Laboratory out of Dallas, Texas.
For the founder and president of Kai Medical Laboratory, responding to COVID-19 had a profound effect on the company, expanding its vision.
When COVID happened, I totally changed my business development plan. I knew I had to do things differently. We saw our country not able to go to the doctor's office, not able to even get tested in our hospitals. We needed to find a solution to be able to triage patients and test them so that they can get treated. So it was kind of a no-brainer to go with a saliva device collection kit.
That Kai Saliva at-home COVID-19 test kickstarted a focus on direct-to-consumer self-testing. With Empower's financial backing, an e-commerce store has been launched. KaiTests.com and KaiTests.ca are the platforms in the US and Canada that will offer a wide range of medical testing products. Meanwhile, steady growth on the medical centers side of Empower continues.
We've really established some great partnerships, particularly with pharmacy partners in Canada, and we're looking at the same or similar partnerships in the United States. By putting a medical center inside a pharmacy or on top of a pharmacy or adjacent to a pharmacy, we get access to those customers and those patients day one when the clinic gets opened.
With a strong balance sheet, thanks to a very large amount of warrant conversions, Empower Clinics is expanding at rapid pace.
We fully expect to have in excess of 30 open clinics in our Canadian portfolio by the time we get out of 2021. As we get deeper into the second quarter and the second half of the year, I'll turn more of my attention back to the United States. We will be very focused on healthcare technology and the ability to either build or acquire new services or applications that will really advance the way that we treat our patients.
As healthcare technology and delivery continue to evolve, Stephen McCauley is clear that the true measurement of success in the healthcare industry remains unchanged.
We want to be known as a technology leader in healthcare. And if we always remember that there are patients at the end of all of this that we are serving, and that's our culture, that's our philosophy, then I think that we have a winning formula.
Part of that formula might explain how Empower Clinics was able to report a 460% increase in patient count numbers in Q1 of this year versus Q1 of 2020.
Coming up next on BTV.
We can see whether you have or do not have different diseases, and in our case, specifically cancer.
We'll be right back. You're watching BTV.
Welcome back to BTV. The average American family of 4 spends more than $18,000 a year on out-of-pocket healthcare costs. As those costs continue to rise, Stage Zero Life Sciences believes their unique approach to early cancer detection addresses one of the most significant problems facing healthcare.
The healthcare model is broken right now. Virtually all of medicine today is focused on defining disease late. That means your outcomes are poorer, it means your costs are very much higher, and it means we've all missed the opportunity to intervene in the meantime. The only way you truly change things is you've got to start finding disease early and intervening early, because that's where you change the actual course of the disease.
Stage Zero's mRNA Sentinel Principal Technology platform was first used to develop a blood test for early detection of colorectal cancer. Using that same platform, Stage Zero has built Aristotle.
We've developed the first of the pan-cancer tests. So we will find, for example, 10 cancers or for a single sample of blood. We extract messenger RNA, which will give us a gene signature, and we can see whether you have or do not have different diseases, and in our case, specifically cancer.
Aristotle detects the cancers that both men and women have in common, and the cancers that are gender specific.
This isn't a test that would say you may have a cancer and we're going to have to go and find out what kind of cancer it is. It's a test that amongst the 10 cancers will say it is this cancer and it is not any other disease. And that is where we actually beat the world. We don't see another test out there like that at this point. Aristotle is a game changer.
Alongside the development of Aristotle, Stage Zero was able to quickly pivot and began producing COVID-19 tests. The reason they were able to do so is quite simple.
mRNA technology, PCR, it's our bread and butter. It's what we do for a living. So we were able to move. We had the equipment, we had the staff, we were trained up, we had the telehealth capabilities, which has turned out to be absolutely critical.
In fact, James Howard Tripp sees the growth of telehealth as a positive side effect of the COVID pandemic.
Telehealth was used at about a 6% level at the beginning of 2020. By mid-2020, we were into 85%. People expect it to settle back a little bit, but no one expects it to drop below about 50-60%.
Stage Zero recently acquired a telehealth-based cancer treatment company called Care Oncology Clinic, operating in both the US and Europe. They're playing a leading role in the launch of Aristotle.
We have talked for many years about prevention being better than treatment or cure. And I think technologies such as this truly are the biggest gains that we can make in healthcare. It's taken Stage Zero many years of development to arrive with a product with this level of excellence, both in terms of its efficacy and its practicality.
Aristotle right now is focused on cancer. It should be, it's where it is. But Aristotle will find Alzheimer's. Aristotle will find major depression. Aristotle will find congestive heart failure. It finds rheumatoid arthritis. So yes, we're starting with cancer, but we should be able to go so much bigger than that. It's truly exciting. It's 20 years worth of work. It's 20 years worth of work that's coming to fruition.
Stage Zero continues to sign more COVID testing contracts. The additional revenue will help the company promote the launch of Aristotle. We've seen some amazing advances in healthcare technology today.
True, but none of them happen without investors willing to share a bit of the risk.
Thanks for joining us today. For BTV, I'm Jessica Kachachak.
And I'm Taylor Tone. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch full episodes of BTV at any time. We're at BTV-Business Television.
Until next time, may your portfolio prosper.